Hey y'all, welcome to this edition of God's Dollar Bill. I'm your host, Bless, and we're going to hop right on into what we're going to discuss today. Okay? Is that okay with you? All right, thanks. We are going to discuss something that I hear a lot, and that's Christians should not date. I've heard that growing up, and I don't know if it comes from people thinking that just because we're dating or getting into different relationships trying to find out who's right for us, that maybe we're going to succumb to lustful thoughts or something. I don't know where that comes from. Um, even if people think that because it doesn't say specifically in the Bible the words date, D-A-T-E, that we're not supposed to do it. I don't know if it stems from that, but we're going to discuss Christians shouldn't date. And
Okay, so
my thoughts on that. Christians should not date. What does that make you think about? For me, that's a death sentence. I don't know where that comes from, and I honestly cannot see the reasoning in that. I think that as a culture, really, we take dating too seriously. And to say a Christian shouldn't date just because they're Christian, that to me is just like, okay, how do you get to know someone? Because I look at dating as really, in a nutshell, an extended introduction. People think that, because you're dating, you're in a romantic relationship, and really, that's not how it's designed. A date is to really see if you can really get to know someone, find out, how compatible you two are, and how much you get along. I mean, you can't just go from meeting someone, whether it be online, on the phone, whether someone hooks you guys up, to courting. And I think a lot of times that we get dating mixed up with courting, and I'll talk about that a little more within the next few weeks. But we really give too much of ourselves when we're dating because we're getting it mixed up with courting. So for me, a date is just an extended introduction. Okay, listen, here's the deal. When I spoke earlier about it not saying specifically date in the Bible, there were people that dated in the Bible. I like to think that Ruth and Boaz dated. It's not like, they just saw each other and he immediately married her. No, he checked her out. They met over the field when she's picking up a little barley or whatever. And, he made sure to have her little stacks ready for her to come pick up. So, he did his thing with letting her know that he was interested. They got the little dating process, and then homegirl went and laid at his feet, that night when, her mom told her to go do that. So to me, that's dating, because you're trying to see where things can go before they go to that next level. Also, I like to think that Esther dated. Just her one night with the king, that was a date. Just because she was in his palace and he had, all these women waiting for him or whatever, they still had a date. So just because it doesn't say specifically D-A-T-E does not mean that the Bible says don't date. And I think a lot of times we get caught up with just because something doesn't look like what we think it should look like, that means that's not what it is. And for me, dating is something that really shouldn't be taken as seriously as we take it. I think that because the Bible says that we should be evenly yoked, as Christians, we take that to heart and say, okay, well, that means just because this guy is a Christian, that means he's for us. Or just because this woman is a Christian, and she's a godly woman, that means she's for me as a man. No, 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 no. Let me say it again just in case you didn't hear me. No. Just because someone is a Christian does not mean you guys are compatible. So if you don't remember anything else from today's episode, remember this. A Christian does not a compatible mate make. Got that? A Christian does not a compatible mate make. So, you have to have something where you guys can meet at a level ground. And the dating process helps with finding out who you're compatible with. So if you cut that out, what do you have? I've seen over and over and over again where people are going on dates, so then they get into a dating relationship, and then things go sour. All of a sudden, oh girl, he wasn't no Christian because he did this, this, and that. Oh, yo, homie, she ain't no Christian because she did this, this, and that. We are so quick to take away the Christian card just because we may not be compatible, when we're the ones that left ourselves open like that. So when you're dating, don't take it as seriously as you may have been trained to take it. And I'm going to do a little series. We're going to do a little show maybe in about another 2 or 3 weeks about how to guard your heart and still be soft, because you want to let a person in a little bit so that you can get to know them, but you don't want to lay your life story. You don't want to lay everything out and unveil your heart if you're just dating, because you can end up really, really getting hurt like that. And I think that that is the state that we end up putting ourselves in, because we're rushing into relationships that we shouldn't be rushing. I'm definitely going to talk a lot about that within the next few shows, because I think it's very important to not only, teach how to date. I think the reason why we date has to be important as well. Really, I just wanted to kind of dispel that myth that Christians shouldn't date, because I think that it's a vitally important part of getting to know someone. Like, again, I look at it as an extended introduction. You have to date in order to find out whether you want to even progress to the next level with a person. You can't just meet someone and say, oh girl, I'm about to marry him. That's my man of God. No, how do you know that just from seeing somebody? I mean, granted, there are times when God will say, this is the person I have for you. Yes. But you still got to get to know that person so that you can see, if that's the right relationship. Because, something else that I noticed, just because God brings a man into your life does not mean that that's your man. He can be brought in to help you learn something, to, show you where your weaknesses are, or he could just be putting away so that you can get to the man that God has for you. So we have got to stop stopping at the first level so that we can see where we're supposed to go. My wonderful sisters and brothers, if you guys are watching, I just want to thank you for being with me this week. I'm having so much fun doing this, and the feedback that I've been getting from you guys over on savedandsavingit.com and in my email, different things that y'all been doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you all who went to the website and signed up for the newsletter, again, thank you. I have some things for y'all, like the affirmations. And what I actually was going to do was give you the affirmations all at once. But what I want to do is actually help you grow. So I'm going to give you an affirmation and the tips over a week's period. So that way, you have something to look forward to every day, and it can help you out with your daily meditation. So I'm going to start that on Sunday. Again, Thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to head on over to the site. So thank you all and be blessed. See you next week.